guys, we are back with another song by Eminem. And which one are we doing today?
Today we're doing Lose Yourself.
I feel like we did that already.
No, we never did. I was saving it to do the 8 Mile soundtrack,
Interesting.
which is what this song is off of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously I know this song. Everybody knows this song. If
Yeah.
anyone's doing a reaction video to it and they say they don't know the song, they know the song.
Yeah, some of the
Like,
young kids might not, but
this is effectively a breakdown video, so take it at that.
yeah, so this is one of his biggest songs. It won Grammy, it won an Oscar. It was charting for like weeks and weeks and weeks. It's one of his biggest songs ever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so like you said, everybody knows this, especially anybody in our age.
For sure. There you have to live under a rock or something. If you never heard it, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, so it's going to be a breakdown, like you said. I do think I have a little bit of interesting, maybe, insight into the structure of the song, maybe, because I imagine this is a very popular song that people react to, and everybody's talking about the same shit. But we'll try, see what happens.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes. All right.
And this video is sponsored by Carnivore Snacks. Carnivore Snacks is one of my favorite snacks and my absolute favorite meat snack ever. It's just 2 ingredients. It's going to be meat and salt. This is the lamb shoulder. So, sorry, I get the hiccups. This is lamb shoulder and salt. I'll show you what it looks like. See that? Perfect marbling, perfectly salted, not too salty, not too little salty. I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say right now. I'm pregnant, don't mind me. But they're absolutely amazing. If you haven't tried them, you really should. And my favorite are the sliders. So I would definitely start there. And with the lamb sliders, if you like lamb, they're absolutely amazing. And the lamb sliders are my favorite. You can use this coupon code with Smith for 15% off your order, and the link is in the description below. We are also sponsored by SeatGeek, which is a great website to get tickets for, whether it be tickets for comedians, concerts, sporting events, Broadway shows, literally anything you can think of, they will have it. And you can use our coupon code with Smith for $20 off your first purchase, and the link is in the description below. And if you click the link, it should populate with events going on in your area. And follow us on social media channels if you'd like to. And that's it.
All right. So this song was released on the 8 Mile soundtrack on October 28th, 2002. So over 20 years ago.
That makes me feel really, really old.
Eminem wasn't there because he thought there was no way he was going to win an Oscar, so he didn't show up to receive it. And then I don't know if you remember a few years ago, maybe it was 2020, 2021, somewhere around there, Eminem performed Lose Yourself at the Oscars, which was interesting.
That's so funny that he just didn't go.
Yeah, I mean, why would he think he would win? He was the first one it was the first rap song to win an Oscar in that category. I believe 3 6 Mafia with It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp, they won in a different category. They were like the first ones from what's the name of that movie? Hustle and Flow. But yeah, so and
Crazy that this is 20 years ago.
21, yeah. And
Stop.
Eminem has I pulled up the lyrics in case this video's wrong, and Eminem did a few annotations himself on Genius, so
That's funny.
we'll mention them. All right. Here we go. Lose Yourself.
Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to sees everything you ever wanted. In one moment, did you capture it? Just let it slip. Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, plow. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stagnant. He knows when he goes back to this mobile home. That's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go capture this moment and hope it don't do better. Lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better so.
All right.
So if you skipped through everything and just watched the reaction real quick, we know this song, so we don't need you commenting, why are they lip mouthing to the lyrics? Like, we know this song. It's a breakdown basically right now.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, I love this song. This is one of those songs that it was because it was everywhere and because I loved it so much, I listened to it so often that I eventually got like tired of it. You know what I mean?
Well, it was also on the radio, so you're not alone. I mean, it was hard to escape, but I remember loving it when I first heard it. But also, I was 10 when this came out, and I was not allowed to see 8 Mile yet, obviously, because I was 10, and,
Yeah.
like, I'm a girl, my parents, like, would not allow that. Sorry. But I didn't know or really listen to the lyrics that well to realize, like, obviously, I had no idea it was so closely related to the actual movie.
Yeah, so that's what's interesting about this. One of Eminem's annotations. So I'll read the intro part and then I'll mention what the annotation speaks about. So he says, look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip?
So that's going to the first time that Eminem, well, Rabbit, went up to rap at the rap battle, and he puked in the toilet, spaghetti. And then he went up to, yeah,
Throws.
he didn't say anything.
Yeah, he choked. And yeah, so that's the one moment to seize it, right? That was his chance to break out and get recognized for being a rapper. So obviously, I'm assuming most of you people, if you're watching this video, you saw 8 Mile. If you didn't, it's a loosely based on Eminem. I mean, it's a different character. Jimmy Smith Jr., B Rabbit, he goes by. It's one of his nicknames, and he's just a blue collar worker, but he's also an aspiring rapper. And he goes to this club and, is trying to be a battle rapper. And that's the premise of the movie.
Mhm.
And this first verse is describing it. So it's interesting. I always notice that in this song, he's talking about Rabbit in the first two verses and in the third verse. But in the third verse, Eminem comes in, right? Like as Eminem. But Eminem made a point in the annotation. He says the first verse is all about Jimmy Smith Jr. It's me talking about Jimmy Smith Jr. Like, I'm not saying my sweater, I'm saying his sweater. I'm trying to show you what his life is about. So it's interesting.
Like describing the movie.
So the first verse isn't from Eminem. So the first verse is from Eminem's perspective, rapping about Jimmy Smith, not Jimmy Smith rapping about himself. Do you know what I mean? Because when he says there's vomit on his sweater already, it could be Jimmy talking about himself in the third person. Do you know what I mean? But it's not. It's Eminem rapping about the character Jimmy Smith, which is it's interesting to think about it that way. You know what I mean?
Did you like develop your love for Eminem because you watched 8 Mile and realized that his character
My
basically
name.
had your name?
No, I already loved Eminem. I saw this movie the day it came out. Like I went to the
Did it
theater
make it
the
better for
Friday. Oh
you?
yeah, I mean, I was like, oh my God. Me and my friends were like, I was in the theater,
Like,
like,
it's
what the fuck? Yeah, my name was crazy. All right, so here we go. We'll start off. He says, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti.
It reminds me of the meme.
Yeah,
His palms spaghetti, knees
his
weak,
spaghetti.
arms spaghetti. There's spaghetti on his spaghetti already. Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah. So this is him literally describing a scene from the movie 8 Mile, and he's just putting it into words. He's nervous, right? His palms are literally sweating. He's weak in the knees, and he throws up. Mom's spaghetti, which he went on to create a chain now called Mom's
Mom's
Spaghetti, where he
spaghetti.
sells spaghetti. Yeah.
Which is like, if you know the movie and you know the song,
Associating with vomit.
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
And I've heard that it's not really that great.
Yeah.
So, like,
It's funny.
I don't know.
So then
Maybe go just for the shirts.
yeah. So he continues, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting. So I do want to point out one of the craziest things about this is the way he delivers the lines, the syllables in each bar are so they line up so well, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Calm and ready, forgetting. You know that it's
you take it
nuts.
for granted
You
as
do.
you hear it. You're like, sounds great, but like really think about it.
Yeah.
It's like it's very great.
He knows that, but he's dope. He's so mad when he's broke. He goes back to his. It's very incredible, and he also made. I don't know if I mentioned that already. He made this beat. He produced this beat as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's nervous, but he's not showing it physically, right? He's ready to
I
rap.
mean, he has vomit on his sweater already, so
Yeah,
he
he
may not
cleaned
be
it up.
showing it, but he's showing it.
Yeah, and yeah, he's ready to drop bombs, meaning like lyrical bombs, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. So again, this is just describing the scene from the movie. He's forgetting the pre-written raps that he wrote. The crowd is there. He's in the moment that he's talking about. That one shot, that one moment to seize everything you ever wanted. He's in it and he's freezing. He's dropping the ball, right?
And
He's
we're also ignoring the fact that like it's it's extra bad, I think. Well, in my opinion, I think it makes it extra bad the fact that like Eminem's white.
he's the minority in the room. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because
He
it's
doesn't fit
like
in.
first he walks up and they're like, "No." And
Yeah,
now they're even more like, "No."
of course. Yeah, he's the odd man out there, you know?
Mhm.
It's wild.
Like they didn't think he would have good skills, and then he proved he had no skills because he didn't even open his mouth.
Exactly.
Mm.
He's choking. How? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out. Time's up over. Blah. So again, it's the movie. He's choking. How? Like, how is this happening? Right? Like, oh my god, everybody's joking now. So they're going choke, choke. Right? They're obviously making fun of him. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Blah. So he missed it. He did not seize the opportunity. He totally
He
fumbled
tried.
it. He messed it up completely. He got scared.
I mean, it's sometimes it has nothing to do with fear. This exact same thing happens to me. Sometimes I'll go, and if I'm talking to a large group of people, especially when I would be in class or if I was at work giving a presentation or something of that nature, sometimes I start talking and my mind goes blank and I have no idea what I'm supposed to say next.
Yeah. So
It just
even if you're not
happens.
even if you're not consciously like, oh my God, I'm so worried about messing this up, I still think it is a fear that leads to you freezing up. Do you know what I mean? And forgetting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he can time's up over Blau, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choked. He's so mad, but he won't. So again, the way it's segmented the syllables. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choked. He's so mad, but it's incredible.
And yeah, and everything is self-explanatory here, but there goes gravity. What does he mean by
So he
that?
says, snap back to reality, right? So he's back to the real world, and in the real world there is gravity. Do you know what I mean? You
True.
you have to experience gravity. So
Okay, I wasn't sure if maybe he fell after he choked. I don't
so
remember the scene that well.
so when you experience in gravity, you experience the weight. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like if you're
Okay,
in space, you're weightless. Do you know what I mean? Or
sure.
if you're in a dream or something, you could be weightless and you're bound to the laws of physics. So gravity coming in, you know, it's the real world.
Yeah, like you're okay.
So that's always the way I interpret it. Now that you're saying that, I'm like, there goes gravity. It's like, oh, is gravity not applying anymore? Is he trying to say his whole world was just turned upside down? You know what I mean?
Uh,
That's interesting because I always
Did
interpreted that.
Eminem say anything about
I
there?
don't think he has an annotation on this one. Let's see. Everybody's doing. Why am I blind? Oh, here it is. There goes gravity. Let's see. No, they're not really saying. No, they're not mentioning anything about the gravity line. But yeah, I always interpret it as back to reality, there's gravity. But he is saying there goes gravity. You could interpret it as, oh, here it comes, or gravity is left, right? So your world's upside down. I always interpret it as that gravity's in effect. Whatever. Let us know how you interpret that specific bar.
Yeah, like we're being semantic, but like we're always
Mm.
semantic.
And in particular with the song we know so well. I mean, what
Yeah.
else are we going to talk about? Okay, so there goes Rabbit. He choked. He's so mad, but he won't. So again, Rabbit was the nickname, which he actually didn't like in the
I mean, would you
movie.
like to be called Rabbit?
I wouldn't really care. But in the
It reminds
movie,
me of Super Troopers.
it came out in the movie that his mom gave him that nickname when he was a little kid because he had buck teeth like a rabbit. So they called
That's
him V
funny
Rabbit.
because they also called Rabbit and Super Troopers Rabbit because he was the new guy.
Yeah,
Which is funny because Eminem's like the new guy in like the movie because he's new to battle rapping.
yeah. He choked. He's so mad, but he won't give up that easy. No, he won't have it. He knows. His whole back's to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope. So again, I'm not gonna point this out every time I read a line, but the syllables, it's so crazy. It's so good.
So he's basically saying he's not going to give up. It's not over for him just because it didn't work out that first time.
Yes.
And he knows that like his back's up against the wall, like the odds and the people are against him, but it doesn't matter because he knows he's dope and he is dope and like once he can actually succeed and get the words out, people will know.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So when he says his whole back's to these ropes, he's gonna have a hard time breaking into the rap industry. But I also interpret that as like in the movie, he's broke and poor, right? And he needs something to get out of his life. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not just making it hip hop, it's like getting out of his current existence. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because I would say like 50 to 75% of what goes on in the movie is based off of what's happened in Eminem's life. Like he
Yeah.
gets beaten up by a bunch of guys
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about how like he was always getting beat up in his town. He lived in a trailer. They made fun of him for being poor. Like he was like the poorest of the poor
Yeah.
cuz his area was already very poor.
Mm-hmm.
And he just couldn't catch a break. His life was not good.
Yeah. So he continues, it don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stagnant, he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it cuts off the sentence, but yeah. So yes, so it doesn't matter. His back's to the rope, but it doesn't matter. He's dope. And he knows that he's dope, but at the same time, he's broke. He's so stagnant, meaning he's just in the same place. He's not going anywhere. He's stuck in this job. He's not progressing in the rap game, right? He's just not doing anything. He's just complacent,
He
unhappy.
needs to do something.
Exactly. And then he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This whole rap city. Better go capture this moment and hope it don't pass him. And
So, like, again, going along with not giving up. Like, he's going to go back home, and it's not like he's just going to go back home and do nothing. He's going to try and, fix the problem
yeah,
that he's experiencing where he can't rap on stage.
he's not just gonna feel sorry for himself, right? He's going
No.
back to the lab, meaning he's gonna practice, rehearse his lines. This whole rhapsody. So that's interesting. It's an interesting phrase. I know. Like I'm trying to
It's
remember.
like a story.
It used to be
And
this.
also rap.
So I remember I used to think it was this whole rap shit. He better.
I
Do you
think
know
I
what?
thought that too.
Yeah, but it is rhapsody. Um, I'm like 90% sure.
Rhapsody is like, it's like saying like this whole story kind of
Yeah, so Rhapsody, yeah, it's like it's usually like I always
like a
interpret it with the
musical
music.
story.
That's funny. Let's actually look up the exact definition. I was an effusively enthusiastic or ecstatic expression of feeling,
Oh.
an epic poem or
Yeah.
part of it, or suitable length for recitation at once.
Yeah, so I think of it in the ancient Greek term.
Instrumental composition, irregular in form, and suggestive of improvisation. So yeah, I always interpret it musically for sure.
Yeah.
So yes, it's like that's interesting in the Greek sense of like an epic or a poem. If you interpret it that way, it's like you know this story, right? Like this whole Rhapsody, meaning it's the guy who's trying to get ahead, and
This
then
underdog
he
story.
exactly. I think that's what the Rhapsody is, and he's letting the audience know this whole Rhapsody. You know the story. This is an archetype. You know what I mean? Is effectively what he's saying, and everybody knows how this goes, and then better go capture this moment and hope it don't pass him. So again, he failed in that specific moment on stage, but the greater moment of this time in his life, he can still seize upon it, right? Just because he
Yeah,
messed up that night.
tries. You can keep trying, try again until you get it right.
Yes. Okay. And then it goes, don't pass him. And then it goes into the chorus, which is, you better lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you better never let it go. So this is straightforward. Lose yourself in the music. I mean, really put yourself all into it that you know nothing else. You know what I mean? You're just
Like,
submerged.
don't focus on
It's
anything
it's
else.
it's your life, right? And then you own the moment. You better never let it go. So again, seize on the opportunity, the chances that you're given. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo.
Which is kind of funny because he actually did blow it and then he kind of got it on like his next try.
So that's what I was saying. Like in the line before, he's saying, in the greater moment, right? There's the moment of the specific moment in time you're in, right? But then there's the greater moment of this period of time in your life, right? Like that's a
Yeah, like
moment in
all of the
time.
attempts you make to try to get to where you want to be. You'll only get one
in
chance to work on that
in that
cuz
period of time. Yeah.
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 But
So I
also like if Eminem like was trying to become a rapper early on and then like was like, I don't know if I could do it and then took a break and then tried again like 10, 15 years later, who knows if that window of opportunity would still be open. It probably wouldn't
so
be.
that did happen. Not that he took that much time off,
Well,
but
no, I'm saying like he was a celebrity and then he was always a celebrity even when he took time off. I'm saying before he was even
no,
known by
that's what I'm talking
anybody.
about. That's what.
Really? He
Yeah, yeah,
did?
he did. He tried to
Oh,
quit. Yeah, and
well,
he was almost going to quit again right before he got signed. You know what I mean? Because it's like this isn't going anywhere. I'm winning some stuff, and like I'm not getting signed. You know what I mean? And then yes, do not miss your chance to blow. So to blow up, your chance to seize the moment.
yeah.
This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. So yeah, you gotta seize the moment. All right, here we go.
Once in a lifetime, you better. Souls escaping through this hole that is gaping. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to postmortem. It only grows harder, homie grows hotter. He blows, it's all over. These hoes is all on him. Coast to coast shows, he's known as the Globetrotter. Lonely roads, God only knows he's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. But hold your nose, cause here goes the cold water. These hoes don't want him no more. He's cold product. They moved on to the next mo who flows. He knows dove and sold nada. And so the soap opera is told. It unfolds, I suppose it's old partner. But the beat goes on. You better lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Okay, it's the last pause.
This gets a little bit more complicated than the first one, for sure.
It's very good, and it's interesting. He ends the second verse in a similar tone, similar sentiment as he did the first verse. I'll show you what I'm referring to specifically when we get there. Okay, so verse 2 comes in. His soul is escaping through this hole that is gaping. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king. Okay.
So what is this hole?
So I think it's his mouth. So his soul is escaping through this hole that is gaping.
So
So
like putting his heart and soul into his raps.
I believe, yes, that his soul is pouring out through his lyrics and his raps, right? And his gaping hole is his open mouth. It's funny in the song Asshole, he mocks himself. He's like, uh, he says this my soul is escaping through this asshole that is gaping on the Marshall Mathers LP too. He makes, a play on this line. Yes, then he says, so that's how I always interpreted it. The whole is his mouth, right? And his soul is coming out through his music, his words. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king.
Self-explanatory.
Specifically, as we move toward a new world order, a normal life is boring, but superstardom's okay. So make me king as we move toward a new world order. So it's interesting in the movie, there's the free world, right? That's the opposing rap group. And so he beats them eventually in the movie. Spoiler alert. And
You can't you have to say spoiler alert
whatever.
first.
Um, so yes, he'll since he beats everybody in the free world, right? In that group, he's gonna be the king as they move toward a new world order. So in that new world order, he's gonna be on top of it because he's the best rapper now, right? Then he says, a normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to post-mortem. It only grows harder. Homie grows hotter. He blows, it's all over. Okay.
So he's saying superstardom is close to post-mortem. Post-mortem means after death.
Yes. So it's an interesting line. So in the context of a normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to post-mortem. So I interpret that superstardom. So a normal life is boring, right? But being a superstar is awesome. So when he says close to post-mortem, you could either interpret that as like
Being dead is cool?
no, so like when you're a legend, you never die. You know what I mean? Your name lives on. That's like a common theme we hear in his music, right? Um, you, so it's interesting. Close to postmortem, you could interpret it as superstardom's going to kill you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, or like you don't achieve it until you're like gonna die.
Yeah, because
Which we know isn't true. There are a lot of celebrities who are young.
well, so I interpreted that superstardom itself will kill you. Do you know what I mean?
Or it
Because
kills what you want, the person you once were,
yeah,
transforms you into someone else. Effectively, the old you is dead, the new you is this now.
yeah. So I don't know. I do think he's saying that it can. I don't know. I don't know if I'm leaning towards when he says close to post-mortem, meaning like you become like a legendary figure after death, or is he foreshadowing, which comes in the rest of this verse, that it leads you, to a downfall. You know what I mean? So it only grows harder. Homie grows hotter. He blows. It's all over. So
So the climb, it just gets harder and harder as you get more popular and popular.
yes,
And the fall will be that much greater.
and I think it's harder to deal with the fame and superstardom. You know what I mean? The bigger it gets, he blows. It's all over. So again, you could look at this in the context of he gets hotter, he blows, right? And then it's all over, meaning it's the full life cycle. Or
I take it
he
as if he
blows,
happens to screw up again, it's all over.
yeah. So, but the thing I think he's talking about, homie grows hotter, he blows, it's all over. So when he says it's all over, that could be like, he's just running shit, right? Or it's all over, meaning like he peaked and now he's coming down, right? But because the next line is it's all over, these hoses all on him, coast to coast shows, he's known as the Globe Trotter, lonely roads. Okay, so because he's famous, right? Girls are all over him. Coast to coast shows, he's known the Globe Trotter. So literally trotting the globe because you're all over the place. Lonely roads, God only knows. He's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter.
Sad, but he's talked about that before, how he has to spend so much time away from his kids and they're young.
Yeah.
Haley.
Yeah, so lonely roads, right? So he's alone away from his family, and then he's grown farther. That's so the obvious bars, the farther. We haven't really been pointing out bars because it's more of a
Yeah,
story, but
no.
the farther father thing is, clever. And then yes, he's distant from his family physically, but then as a result, like emotionally, their relationship also is further apart. And then he goes home and barely knows his own daughter, right? Because he's away so much. And then, but hold your nose, because here goes the cold water. These hoes don't want him no more. He's cold product.
I don't get this part.
So hold your nose like you're going underwater.
Oh, okay.
So close your nose, because here goes the cold water. So he's saying, like, so you're covering your nose as if you're going into water, and then the cold water is like, a wake up call. You know what I mean?
For some reason, even when I was younger and I heard this song, I thought he was like describing like a torture situation, where like people like take your head and like put it into cold water to like make you tell the truth or something.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't, that's just what I imagined when I was younger. And for some reason, I still think of that
So
when I hear that part.
it's interesting because he says, he goes home and barely knows his own daughter, right? And then he says, but hold your nose, because here goes the cold water, meaning like you thought that was bad, right? That's not even the worst part. Here comes the worst part. Prepare yourself. Hold your
It's
nose, right?
hose.
It's coming, right? Yes, the hoes don't want him. So the girls don't want him, and he's cold product. He's cooled off. He's not hot anymore. Everybody's
I
not
was just
all
saying
over him.
Prada.
Nah, product.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not hot. He's not a hot commodity. He's a cold product. Yeah, so nobody wants him. They moved on to the next schmo who flows. He nose dove and sold nada, and so the soap opera. So again, they're breaking it down how he delivers the lines, but the sentence carries into different bars. So okay, the
He's on to
the hoes don't want him. Yeah.
there's a new big rapper in town. No one wants him. He sold nothing. And it's his little soap opera. So saying like, playing the smallest violin. Like,
So I don't even think he means it that way. I think he
well,
literally
I'm
means
saying
it.
that.
I think he means it like in the traditional soap opera sense. And this is what I was referring to the parallels. So yeah, he nosed over and sold nada. So he literally went from being on top to straight down,
Yeah.
not selling
Like
anything.
sob story.
And so the soap opera is told, it unfolds. I suppose its old partner, but the beat goes on. Da da dum da dum da da.
So like saying again, like if that were to happen, it's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. It happens to tons of people
So
all the time.
the parallels between the end of the first verse with this whole rhapsody, right? So which we discussed, like in the sense of the Greek, it's an epic, it's a archetypal story, right? It's one that you're familiar with. And then so it was the common story of the underdog trying to get up, right? It's like everybody knows this story, right? But then he refers to this as the soap opera in the sense paralleling the rhapsody. And it unfolds the soap opera of the ups and downs and the highs and lows. But now it's an old story. But in this second verse, the rhapsody of this verse is the downfall. You know what I mean? Which is interesting. So it's like this also is a story as old as time.
Yeah.
And then, but the beat goes on, da 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 da. So the life keeps on moving. You know what I mean? You just got to keep going. Life goes on, and the beat still goes, right?
For sure.
All right, and then it was the chorus again, and we will finish up the song now. Here we go.
No more games, I'ma change what you call rage. Tear this motherfucking roof off like two dogs' cage. I was playing in the beginning, the mood all changed. I've been chewed up and spit out and booed off stage. But I kept rhyming and stepped right in the next cipher. Best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper. All the pain inside amplified by the fact that I can't get by with my 9 to 5. And I can't provide the right type of life for my family. Cause man, these goddamn food stamps don't buy diapers. And there's no movie, there's no Mackay Pfeiffer. This is my life and these times are so hard. And it's getting even harder trying to feed and water my seed. Plus, see the thought I caught up between being a father and a prima donna. Baby mama drama screaming on her too much for me to wanna stay in one spot. Another damn monotony's gotten me to the point I'm like a snail.
Okay. So, third and final verse.
Yes.
So this one, there's a slight difference in it between the first two verses. Okay. So he comes in. No more games. I'ma change what you call rage. Tear this motherfucking roof off like two dogs caged.
So he's effectively saying, like, he's going to be even more rageful than what you know to be rage.
Yeah, I'm not playing around anymore. I'm putting everything I have into this and I'm angry, right? I want it and I'm coming with vengeance, And then
He's gonna fight for it.
two caged dogs would eventually tear the roof off.
Like
Um,
two dogs in the same cage.
yeah. I was playing in the beginning. The mood all changed. I've been chewed up and spit out and booed off stage.
And as he said, he's talking in as Eminem right now.
So,
Right?
so yes and no. So he's still talking about Jimmy, right?
Right.
But then it becomes blurred here and it's not clear. So he mentioned, like I read before, his annotation saying that he was writing it from as Eminem talking about Jimmy. So yeah, he does have an annotation saying how. So he says that it merges when he gets to the line about diapers. That's where he makes it apparent. But he is also saying I'm talking about Jimmy, but I'm also talking about me. So I guess you can interpret that. Again, it's semi autobiographical anyway, the movie, right? So yeah, I was playing in the beginning, the mood all changed. So that ties into the line before where no more games, right? Obviously games playing, right? He's like, when he says I was playing in the beginning, I think he meant like I was
Compared to what I'm doing right
I
now.
wasn't trying, I wasn't giving it my all, right? And then yeah, chewed up and spit out and boot off stage. So that happened in the movie and in real life, I'm assuming at some point. But I kept rhyming and stepped right in the next cipher. Best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper. So he got booed, embarrassed, but he kept writing and then just kept rapping, got back up. And he says, best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper. So that's the story. The Pied Piper with the flute and what is it, the rats or
I
something?
don't remember it. I don't know.
But the saying who pays the piper picks the tune, right? So if you're paying the Pied Piper, you get a say, you know what I mean, in what's being done, right? So
Like you're effectively like paying your dues.
yeah,
Or like just like I don't know what that
you
freaking
get to pick
saying
this.
means,
If you
honestly.
pay the piper, he's going to play the song you paid him to play. You know what I mean? So
But what
like,
does paying the Pied Piper even really mean? Doesn't it mean like that's like not a good thing,
so no, he's taking
right?
control of the situation, right? So like, he wants the Pied Piper to
Look
play.
this up.
He wants the Pied Piper to play the song, so he's paying him to play the song, right? So he is, you know, getting what he wants done in that circumstance.
Yeah. Well, no, I was right. When you pay the Pied Piper, it's not a good thing. You're paying the consequences of it says you're paying the consequences of self-indulgent behavior. Like your own kind of like owning up to your mistakes.
So again, the saying is, "He who pays the piper picks the tune," right?
Hmm.
So when he says, "Best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper," meaning
You're like paying your consequences. That's
so
what it says on Google. And that's what it always meant to me. I never took it as a positive thing.
So, no, you're right. There is a negative connotation to it, but in the context of this, I believe that he's saying, I'm gonna make what,
He's writing his past.
yeah, I'm in control of the situation, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
what
like
I
he
want
screwed
to
up in the
happen.
beginning, which is what the whole beginning of the song is. Like he screwed up, but now he's like, he's the one paying the Pied Piper because he is now not screwing up
Well,
and doing well.
it's interesting though because he says somebody's paying the Pied Piper.
That's like him saying, like, he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um. Okay. Somebody's paying the Pied Piper. All the pain inside, amplified by the fact that I can't get by with my 9 to 5 is the next line.
So it's like his drive, like what makes him really like Rageful.
Yeah, he has all this pain inside, and then on top of all that pain, he has a 9 to 5 job that is not making ends meet, right? So it's just compounding struggles and pains. Um, 5, and I can't provide the right type of life for my family because, man, these goddamn food stamps don't buy diapers. So yeah, his 9 to 5's not cutting it. He's not making money,
No.
and the food stamps that he's on don't buy diapers, which is true, but food stamps are meant for food, not for diapers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it would be helpful.
Well, when you're
Like
on,
anything from the grocery store.
so there is a weird thing with that. But when you're on food, like I was on food stamps years ago, like EBT in New York is what they call it. You get like certain money for like food or whatever, but you also do get, depending on your circumstances, whether they're paying for your living arrangements or not, you do get like the equivalent of cash that you could spend on anything. You know what I mean? You could literally take it out of an
Yeah.
ATM.
Well, that's also in New York
But
and a lot more recent.
no, that's everywhere though. But the
Oh,
food
I
stamps
don't know.
itself, you can't. You know what I mean? Anywhere you can't buy food. You can't buy non-foods with
I thought you
food
get
stamps.
cigarettes with food stamps.
No. So what you can do, which I used to do to support my drug habit, is you can go to crooked stores, bodegas, that will give you 50 cents or 75 cents on the dollar in your food stamps. So they'll ring up the full amount of food stamps and they'll give you whatever, half the amount in cash or 75% in cash. And then you could do whatever you want. Some crooked places may just let you straight up buy cigarettes, but they might ring up something else for you. Yeah, there's a whole lot of fraud going on, which I used to be familiar with. But yes, it is true. If you can't buy diapers on food stamps. Okay. Man, these goddamn food stamps don't buy diapers, and there's no movie, there's no Mackay Pfeiffer. This is my life, and these times are so hard, and it's getting even harder. So this is the part where he merges Eminem talking about Jimmy Smith Jr. and Eminem talking about Eminem. He's saying, this isn't a movie. Mackay Pfeiffer, who plays Future, who is based off of Proof. I'm not referring to that. He's saying, I'm talking about my life. I went through this. I struggled to provide for my family and
But
of the
also
food
like saying
stamps.
there's no movie. It's like it's not a movie. It's
Yep.
a biography. Like this is my
This is
life.
real life. Yeah.
Like it's not made up. It's not written by some Hollywood executive. It's like from the pages of his life storybook.
Yep. And then he says, and these times are so hard and it's getting even harder. So it's interesting. So when he says these times are so hard, I think he's referring to like those times, right? But then he says, and it's getting even harder, trying to feed and water my seed, plus teeter totter, caught up between being a father and a prima donna. So he jumps from the struggles of before he made it to his current day struggles.
So trying to take care of his daughter and give her a good life and play with her, but also like being a celebrity rapper who's earning the money to
Hmm.
provide said life for his daughter
Yeah.
family.
And he's taking a shot at himself by calling himself a prima donna. You know what I mean? He could have said it. He could have used, I mean, prima donna rhymes, but he could have said, being a star, being a rapper. But no, he's acknowledging that when he's not being a father, he's being a prima donna, which is pretty funny. Then he says, baby mama drama, screaming on her, too much for me to want to stay in one spot another day of monotonies. So again, this is breaking up the sentence, but so on top of all that shit, he's dealing with baby mama drama. So shit with Kim, screaming on her too much for me to want to stay in one spot. So they're fighting so much he doesn't even want to be there. You know what I mean? He wants to just go out, be away from her, maybe go on the road. Another day of monotonies gotten me to the point I'm like a snail. I've got to formulate a plot or end up in jail or shot. So he's fighting with Kim, his baby mama, right? He doesn't want to stay in one spot. Another day of monotony. So he's considering it's interesting because it's fighting, and you wouldn't necessarily think of fighting as monotonous, right? But
But when
if
it's day in and day out, it doesn't stop.
yeah, it's interesting that that could be considered monotony when it's just the same shit.
Predictable.
And yes, he's at the point where he's like a snail. He's got to formulate a plot or end up in jail or shot.
So he's kind of frozen,
Yeah, slowly moving, stuck.
which correlates with the beginning.
Yes. And he's either got to formulate a plot So it's interesting. Now I think he's bouncing back to like the movie kind of, right? You know what I mean? Formulate a plot or end up in jail or shot. Like I think about pre-success Eminem, right? Like if I don't do something with my life, I'm gonna be in jail or shot, right? So I think he's bouncing back to Jimmy Smith. And then he says, success is my only motherfucking option. Failure's not. Mom, I love you, but this trailer's got to go, is the line. So yeah, this is going back to Jimmy Smith, but kind of him too.
Yeah.
The tell that it's the movie is he says, Mom, I love you, but this trailer's got to go. Obviously, he's not on the greatest terms with his mom, especially at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's referencing the movie. Mom, I love you, but this trailer's got to go. I cannot grow old in Salem's Lot. So
Which
he,
is another word for hell.
so here I go. It's my shot. Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I got. So Salem's Lot is a story by Stephen King. I'm trying to remember. There's something like creatures or something in it. I forget what the plot line
Yeah.
is. Yeah. So I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this trailer, right? Salem's Lot, I believe. I'm trying to remember if it was a specific trailer park, Salem's Lot. Um, but yeah, he's like, I can't. I got to get out of this place. So here I go. It's my shot. Feet fail me not. So he's saying, feet don't fail me. Take me to where I need to go. This may be the only opportunity I got.
In one short sentence, it's about like a sinister community.
Yeah.
So kind of
Is
like
there what creature? There's some type of creatures in it.
um looks like Nosferatu.
Vampire then. Yeah,
Yeah.
vampire. That's right. That's right. So that's an interesting line. I mean, that's an interesting context. The Salem's Lot, if it's a vampiric town, it's sucking the life out of him. You know what I mean? In
Mm-hmm.
that context. So yeah, this is his chance. Feet fail me not. I used to when I first for so long I didn't understand that's what he was saying. Feet fail me not. I don't remember what I thought he was saying. Now I don't remember what I used to think it was, but whatever. He's telling his feet not to fail him, meaning
Yeah, like
take
move.
take me where I need to go. Yes, this may be the only opportunity I got. Goes back to the chorus, and then at the very end, he just says, oh, we already
It
passed it.
wasn't, yeah, it was like right after. You
Jesus.
can do anything you put your mind to,
To
man, or yo, or something.
yes, you
Yeah.
can do anything you set your mind to, man.
Yeah.
And that continues with the motivation of the song. All right, so you know this. What are your thoughts after breaking it down?
So after breaking it down, that was helpful and good because like I know a lot of the words to this song, but I feel like I don't really think about what they mean at all,
Yeah,
which is sort of like along lines of what I was saying earlier, how like you listen to the song and you completely lose the meaning of it because you know it so well and you don't really think of like how great it really is. You sort of take it for granted. And yeah, that's why like breaking it down like 21 years later, you realize how good it really was. Like it's very interesting. I never realized that it was all about Rabbit's life in the first two verses, and then it kind of like intermingles with his. It's very impressive, and the beat's amazing. I would think it's probably his best song he's ever had.
it's definitely one of the most popular for sure. Awards wise. I mean, none of his other songs won an Oscar. You know what I
I
mean?
really
So
do think it's his best song.
yeah, and it was so motivational. You know what I mean? The beat that he also made, that alone gets you like amped up, right?
Yeah,
And then it's a motivational, like underdog, like Rocky type story. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then like you were talking about the context of which again I knew the context of Eminem's talking about Jimmy in the first 2.5 verses and then throws it back to himself a little bit, but we read the annotation from Eminem on Genius saying that it's a subtle point, it might not even matter to anybody, but he's not rapping as Jimmy Smith, he's Eminem rapping about Jimmy Smith, which is interesting. You know what I mean? That's it's an interesting distinction.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But yeah, this is a great song. I can't tell you the last time I listened to it before today, but
No, it's been a long time.
yeah, it's great. It's definitely one of his bests, and it's gonna go down in history, especially since it not only has the Grammy but that Oscar as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So definitely check out Carnivore Snacks, SeatGeek, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you.
Bye.